Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, proud to support the mission of KPBS and privileged to serve San Diego clients. Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, helping homeowners maintain drain, heating, and cooling systems since 1978. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Good evening. It's Wednesday, January 27th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Many San Diegans were pleased to hear that the stay-at-home orders were lifted, but not everyone. Tonight, a group of local infectious disease researchers are issuing a solemn warning. KPBS reporter John Carroll on the problem a variant of the COVID-19 virus now presents in San Diego.
It's called B117, more commonly known as the UK variant, because it was first detected in Great Britain. Some sobering news on that today from UC San Diego infectious disease modeler Natasha Martin.
Although the prevalence of the B117 variant is estimated to be relatively low currently in San Diego at 5%, again, because of this increased transmissibility, we anticipate that it will become the dominant strain within a matter of weeks.
Martin says that could be a big problem because the B117 variant is estimated to be 50 to 70% more transmissible than the current strain of COVID-19 that's dominant in the county. Martin says even though it's still critical we all wear masks outside of our homes, the increased transmissibility of the B117 variant means masks are less effective in preventing infection. So why would the state lift the stay-at-home order at the same time the new variant is spreading? Martin says they're relying on data showing cases and hospitalizations declining, but she says that doesn't take into account the bigger picture.
Those projections will need to be revised as we see emergence of variants and potentially increased transmission as a result of them.
Increasing vaccinations will help, but Martin cautions that just vaccinating more people won't get us out of the woods.
We will still likely see cases at least returning to where they are now or potentially higher than we're currently seeing them. And so we need a combination of a robust vaccination program as well as strict adherence to masking and social distancing orders in order to reduce transmission.
At this point, you might be asking yourself if our current vaccines will be effective against the B117 and other variants. Good news on that front from Dr. Anthony Fauci. In Washington today, Fauci said preliminary research shows the vaccines available now are effective. But he also said federal health agencies are preparing for the possibility of them losing effectiveness. If that happens, Dr. Fauci says he has high confidence that drug companies could quickly change the vaccine formulas. John Carroll, KPBS News.
Nurses across the state, including those at UC San Diego Health, making their voices heard, demanding safe staffing so they can continue to save lives. This morning in Hillcrest, they gathered to call for an end to elective surgeries. The nurses say they continue to be overworked, are under stress, and want the proper care for coronavirus patients, many of whom are dying. UC San Diego Health issued a statement saying it has maintained appropriate and safe staffing ratios throughout the pandemic. Caring for those who have contracted COVID-19 has indeed taken its toll on local hospitals, both in staffing and costs. Today, Congressman Darrell Issa visited the Palomar Medical Center, Escondido, a site dedicated to care for patients from other overburdened facilities. More now from KPBS North County reporter Jacob Ayer.
Yeah. Congressman Darrell Issa took a tour of the 11th floor at Palomar Medical Center, Escondido this morning to see what an overflow room for incoming patients would look like at the facility. The 10th floor of the building is currently stationed with 100 hospital beds and is being used to care for 18 patients with COVID-19. It is the only alternate care site located in San Diego County.
We saw warm beds that are available for further surge if needed, that have been prepared, that give us some relief. What we also saw was the strain on the actual intensive care facilities, particularly those which are designed with negative pressure
The 2 floors of alternate care sites were first set up in the spring of 2020 by the National Guard to help deal with the overflow of patients due to COVID-19. Palomar Health CEO Diane Hansen says the 11th floor is currently not in use.
We were originally issued regular cots, a normal cot that you would see in a field hospital. And the state rallied and actually gave us actual patient beds, just an open air unit, but it does have dividers. It has actual patient beds and all the equipment that is needed up there to take care of the patients.
Issa was impressed by the setup, but worries that the county, state, and federal government have not paid for the $3.5 million of expenses for new facilities and staff at Palomar Health's Escondido site.
Hospitals have to have the confidence that when they do something when asked, that they won't be doing it to the detriment of their own financial ability to pay other bills and treat their other patients.
Hansen says the pandemic has stressed hospital staff, but Palomar Health has added nurses and ICU beds to their facilities. Jacob Ayer, KPBS News.
Some good news for those trying to get a COVID-19 vaccine in North County. Supervisor Jim Desmond says a vaccination supercenter will open at Cal State San Marcos. People can start booking appointments on Saturday. In downtown San Diego, the vaccination super site at Petco Park is back up and running. It was closed for a couple of days due to bad weather. One man waiting in line says he is glad the age requirement has been lowered.
Our first try on the weekend. We thought they were going to change it to 65 because that was what was in the news. So then we went online and made an appointment, and the next day they announced 65 and over.
Only people who work in healthcare or those aged 65 and older can get the vaccine at the moment. The state has a website, myturn.ca.gov, that will alert you when your demographic is eligible. UC San Diego had a surge of COVID-19 cases among students returning from their winter break, but new cases have dropped dramatically in recent weeks. KPBS education reporter Joe Hong explains how the university is hoping to keep it that way.
With about 10,000 students on campus last quarter, UC San Diego kept COVID-19 case numbers low through the end of 2020. But after the winter holiday, cases spiked among students, with more than 200 reported during the first week of the new quarter. Robert Schooley is a professor of medicine at UCSD overseeing the university's COVID strategy.
Well, we anticipated this would happen when people go home and mix with multiple generations and see their high school friends and socialize. This virus takes advantage of that.
But in less than 2 weeks, numbers have plummeted back down to single digits thanks to the testing and quarantine program the university had in place since last year.
We had prepared for it by doing a number of things. We had surge testing, if you will, during that first week to try to identify as quickly as we could people upon return who had brought the virus back with them.
UCSD has reported 861 cases among students since the onset of the pandemic and 331 since the beginning of the school year. Schooley said even at its peak, the university easily managed the surge in cases. The campus had plenty of quarantine rooms available for students testing positive.
No, we never got up to any more than about 180 beds, and we have 600. So we could have handled many more than that. We really always wanted to have a big buffer in terms of quarantine beds.
Looking ahead, Schooley said his team is now focused on avoiding another surge after spring break. He said the university is designing spring break internships so students can remain on campus building their resumes instead of traveling.
Our goal would be to create a number of really interesting career development pathways and things that they don't have time to do during the class year and the school year, and try to see if they can stay on campus and not have to go off campus and come back and surge back with the virus.
Schooley said unless there's a significant delay, he expects the university to be close to fully reopen in the fall. Joe Hong, KPBS News.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says it is possible for schools to safely reopen and limit spread of the coronavirus. In one study, CDC researchers looked at schools in Wisconsin that opened last fall for in-person learning. They found that transmission was 37% lower in school than it was in the surrounding community because of mask mandates and smaller groups. San Diego County is the largest county in the U.S. to commit to achieving zero carbon emissions by the year 2035. The Board of Supervisors approved the measure today. It comes as President Biden's administration tackles climate change. Here's Darrell Issa.
Today is Climate Day at the White House.
President Biden signing executive actions to make climate change a core part of all foreign policy and national security decisions.
It is an existential threat.
The actions halt new oil and natural gas leases on public lands and offshore waters and review existing fossil fuel leases. The oil and gas industry and some lawmakers blasted the move, saying it's bad for the economy.
It looks like President Biden is working on a make America unemployed again kind of strategy.
It's going to benefit jobs, it's going to benefit our health, and it's going to lead to that future we want to hand to our children.
Already, Biden moved to rejoin the Paris Climate Agreement and revoked a construction permit for the Keystone XL pipeline.
This is an issue where failure literally is not an option.
The coronavirus pandemic is another crisis facing the country. During the Biden administration's first COVID briefing, the CDC director warned new variants may be more contagious.
The variants have been identified recently, seem to spread more easily. They're more transmissible, which can lead to increased number of cases.
But scientists say current vaccines seem to be effective against the known variants. Biden pledged to have enough vaccines for at least 300 million Americans by this summer.
But even so, it will be months before everyone who wants a vaccine will be able to get one.
Still, there are more dark days ahead. So far, January is the deadliest month of the pandemic in the United States. In Washington, Darrell Issa, KPBS News.
Law enforcement agencies in San Diego and across the county were warned today of a heightened threat environment. It comes as intelligence agencies continue to monitor threats by extremists unhappy over the change of presidential administrations. The warning did not cite any specific anticipated violent attacks, but advises local agencies partner together to add extra protection around government facilities to protect people and critical infrastructure. Today, contractors and government workers building the border wall along America's southwest border must stop all work. The halt ordered by President Biden. KPBS reporter Max Rivlin-Nadler gives us a look at where things now stand in San Diego County.
Over 25 miles of 30-foot-high border wall replacements were built by the Trump administration along the border in San Diego County during the past 2 years. As of last week, work in several areas, including the Otay Mountain Wilderness, was ongoing. On his first day in office, President Biden ended a declared national emergency on the border and gave construction workers along the border 1 week to wrap up their work and leave it in a safe condition, while his administration reviews the entire border wall project. Workers had just begun preparing to tear down fencing at Friendship Park, right near the Pacific Ocean, for another 30-foot-high replacement project, something advocates for the park had been rallying against for months. Many advocates didn't expect the Biden administration to take such immediate action along the border. John Fanistil is with the Friends of Friendship Park.
President Biden had said that not another foot of wall would be built on his watch, so that led us to hope that there would be this immediate halt. As Robert said, though, we were pleasantly surprised that it actually happened.
Elsewhere on the border in San Diego, members of the Kumeyaay Nation continued their protest against wall construction. They filed a lawsuit over the summer saying the government skipped necessary reviews into whether construction would destroy their cultural heritage sites as it continued to build the wall near Campo. Stan Rodriguez is a member of the Kumeyaay Nation who protested against the wall this weekend.
To me, it seemed like an edifice that was created for white hegemony and also xenophobia and marginalizing Native people, because one of the things that they completely discounted was the rights that we as Native people have on the border.
Biden's order stops all construction, regardless of whether the money was appropriated specifically for wall construction or if it was redirected by the Trump administration to the border wall from the budget of the Department of Defense. Multiple judges have ruled that Trump's move was illegal, but border wall construction proceeded anyway. As of this Tuesday, construction had halted at projects across San Diego County. That gives groups like the Friends of Friendship Park a last-minute reprieve to try to stop a project that would replace border fencing that's only a decade old. Robert Vivar, who was deported from the U.S. and works with Friends of Friendship Park from the Mexico side, thinks this is a great opportunity to reassess the border wall project and the future of shared spaces along the border.
This perhaps would be an opportunity for a dialogue to start regarding similar binational parks all along the border to really look at creating security on the border through friendship of both countries.
A 60-day review of the border wall project will determine what's to be done with the money appropriated to the border wall and whether to resume or terminate projects. The administration hasn't made clear whether its pledge not to construct more border wall includes replacement projects, like most of the construction done in San Diego County under the Trump administration. Pedro Rios is a steering committee member of the Southern Border Communities Coalition.
Our objective is to make sure that the Biden administration understands that even a replacement wall is still has not only deadly consequences, but has the potential of transforming the local ecological habitat, defaming cultural sites. And that's an important conversation that can only take place when the impacted community is consulted about how to restore the lands and how to mitigate the damage that has been done.
The Biden administration did not respond to a request for comment from KPBS. For groups opposing the border wall, like the Kumeyaay, the path for the Biden administration is clear, says Stan Rodriguez.
The prior administration broke many of their own laws in order to put this edifice up. No wall stops people. There's other solutions to this. And a great person, like a great country, keeps their word. Keep your word. Halt this, make things right.
Max Rivlin-Adler, KPBS News.
Heavy precipitation is on the way. It looks like it arrives here late Thursday. Heaviest of the rain and the mountain snow comes in late Thursday night and into Friday morning. For the weekend, though, it does look like we'll dry it out and temperatures will start to creep up. But we do see a lot of heavy precipitation on the way. It's just going to take its time getting here. Looking at the forecast for tonight, near 40 in Oceanside and 46 San Diego, El Cajon 42, Ramona, a little nippy there at 32, Borrego Springs 37, Mount Laguna at 29 degrees. Now here's our scenario for Thursday. Rain will continue to pivot slowly down the coast. It won't arrive here till late in the afternoon and into the evening hours. But traveling north is going to be pretty rough with the rain and developing snows up in the mountains. Forecast highs for tomorrow, low 60s Oceanside and San Diego. Ramona's at 60, El Cajon 67, Mount Laguna 47, Borrego Springs at 68. Now here's our future radar for you. And during the afternoon on Thursday, we see the heavy band of rain getting down to Oceanside by the late afternoon. And here we'll see the heavy rains coming in after dark. And it looks like it'll be a wet night with snow in the mountains. Snow levels at about 5,000 feet. That's where you'll see your accumulations. And then up above 7,000 feet, we'll see about 1 to 2 feet of snow. So you can see the wet weather will be with us right through Friday. So it's going to be an unsettled day on Friday with rain and the mountain snow. Here's a look at the forecast. Well, clouding up Thursday. Rain comes in Thursday night into Friday. Over the weekend, drier and milder Sunday and Monday. Inland areas Thursday night into Friday, the rain. And you can see the milder conditions Sunday into Monday. And here in the mountains, we'll see the rain on Friday. Higher terrain sees the snow. And over the weekend, pleasant 50s Sunday and Monday. And here in the deserts, we'll see the wet weather Friday. And over the weekend, improving temperatures. And for KPBS News, I'm meteorologist Mark Mancuso.
Today is the 76th anniversary of the liberation of the Auschwitz concentration camp by the Red Army. The memory of the victims of the Holocaust are honored on this day as International Holocaust Remembrance Day. USD sociology professor Dr. Thomas Reifer says it is urgent that we remember the past.
In the world today, we're seeing a resurgence of hatred, anti-Semitism, and xenophobia. It's come back, and we have to realize that things like this that happened in the past could happen again if we don't educate people about what humans can do and how to fight against it and create a world of tolerance and love and compassion and empathy.
USD has created a series on Jewish culture and anti-Semitism, which lasts through April 20th. Tonight at 6 p.m., the United Nations Holocaust Memorial Ceremony will be watched, followed by discussion. The first female Marine recruits have arrived at MCRD. KPBS military reporter Steve Walsh says along with their own training, they will test whether San Diego is prepared for integration.
They arrived after dark in weather unusually cold and windy for San Diego, the first female Marine recruits to train on the West Coast. After their flights landed, it started with lining up at the airport with the male recruits. Under a new COVID protocol, the Marines now use the USO at the airport for testing and paperwork before they are bused to the Marine Corps recruiting depot, says Lieutenant Colonel Tracy Massey.
And then they start the process of filling out forms to include the storage of their cell phones, to make a call home, to let their loved ones back at home know that they've arrived safely.
She says in some ways it's just like a typical Monday at MCRD, mixed with history.
It's just another step towards us making Marines, and that's what we're doing. Anyone who shows up at the Yellow Footprints is who we're here to train, and the fact that we get to train female recruits here at MCRD San Diego is just a super exciting, monumental day in Marine Corps history.
Until Monday, all female recruits trained on the East Coast. Congress is requiring the Marines to fully integrate women into boot camp. At the moment, this is a one-time test to see what it will finally take to open up San Diego to women. These women were chosen at random from the western half of the United States. 18-year-old Tsunami Smith's mother is a Marine. She understands the significance.
It's exciting because I know it's a big step for the Marine Corps, and it feels like an honor to be one of the first girls being able to go.
After grabbing their gear, the 60 female recruits were sent to hotel rooms for 2 weeks, a new step designed to keep COVID out of boot camp. After that, they will meet their drill instructors and start the formal process of becoming a U.S. Marine. Steve Walsh, KPBS News.
If you have an iPhone or an iPad, Apple is urging you to update your device to fix major security flaws. The company has not shared many specifics, but admitted 3 security bugs might have been exploited by hackers. Apple is now making the software upgrades available. It credited anonymous researchers for pointing out the vulnerabilities. Imagine packages containing items you did not order just showing up on your doorstep. It's happening to a number of people across the country. Mandy Gaither explains what's behind these so-called brushing scam deliveries.
Ooh, a new package I didn't order.
Mysterious packages containing unusual items.
Every 2 weeks, I think about if I get another package in the mail. Nothing wrong with my Amazon account. And Amazon is like, yeah, don't worry about it. I don't know.
The Federal Trade Commission and cyber experts are alerting customers these deliveries could be part of something known as brushing scams. It's a way that vendors on Amazon and other e-commerce sites can boost their ratings with fake verified reviews.
As Amazon's become more competitive, sellers are fighting with each other to get buyer eyeballs. Getting more product reviews that are positive is essential to competing on Amazon.
Here's how such scams work. Third-party sellers on Amazon, eBay, and other online marketplaces pay people to write fake positive reviews about their products. To be able to post the reviews, these so-called brushers need to make it appear a legitimate transaction took place. So they'll place orders under a fake account and mail the item to a random address they find online. They don't actually mail the product they're writing a review on. Instead, scammers typically send a cheaper and lighter item that costs less to ship.
The real losers here are the consumers because they might see 100 positive reviews and there may only be 60 or 70 of them that are legitimate.
Amazon says its policy prohibits sellers from sending unsolicited merchandise to customers and that sellers can be removed from the site for doing so. And as a precaution, the FTC recommends you change your passwords and track your credit card statements if you start receiving unsolicited packages. For Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Cloris Leitchman, the award-winning actress best known for her comedic TV roles, has died. Leitchman passed away yesterday of natural causes at her home in Encinitas. You might remember her from movies like Young Frankenstein and High Anxiety, or her TV roles on The Mary Tyler Moore Show and The Facts of Life. She won a Best Supporting Actress Oscar for The Last Picture Show and 8 Emmys for her work in television. Cloris Leitchman was 94.
I'm Judy Woodruff. Tonight on the NewsHour, we speak to White House advisor Gina McCarthy about the ever-present climate emergency. Coming up at 7 after Evening Edition on KPBS.
An update now on our top stories. Today, San Diego County reported another 44 people died from the coronavirus and more than 1,400 new cases. A group of local infectious disease researchers are warning about a variant now present in San Diego. B117 currently accounts for only 5% of infections locally, but because it is up to 70% more transmissible, researchers expect it will become the dominant strain within weeks. And Congressman Darrell Issa toured the alternate care site at Palomar Medical Center, Escondido. The federal medical station, which has 200 beds, is designed for hospital surges. Right now, it's being used to care for 18 coronavirus patients. It is the only alternate care site located in the county. You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Have a great evening.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, proud to support the mission of KPBS and privileged to serve San Diego clients. Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, helping homeowners maintain drain, heating, and cooling systems since 1978. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley. And by the following: and by viewers like you. Thank you.